Badenoch has demanded that the government launches an immediate inquiry into child exploitation in Britain, despite not doing that 14 years in power. And this comes as Keir Starmer is attacked over his handling of the Oldham grooming gang scandal when he was head of the Crown Prosecution Service, with Labour blocking
doing this stuff.
No, I don't think this is just another self-harming incident. I think this is by far the worst sort of harm Keir Starmer has done to himself and his government and his party since.
Pakistan is a safe haven for paedophiles, and I'm not just talking about Pakistani rape gangs. What kind of society lets a BBC News anchor walk free from court after possessing child abuse images involving kids as young as 9, yet imprisons a bloke who sold dodgy streams of Premier League football matches?
Keir Starmer's leadership of the Labour Party is facing serious pressure, and the turmoil is becoming harder to ignore. From a wave of council resignations to renewed scrutiny over his time as Director of Public Prosecutions, the controversies continue to grow. The situation has pushed Labour into internal tension, while critics outside the party grow louder. With both political pressure and public doubt rising, the challenges around Starmer's leadership could have lasting consequences for Labour's future.
Well, he's attacking the leadership of Britain. I mean, he's saying Britain's been terribly badly led, and that the grooming scandal, the mass rape scandal, which has resurfaced, and transcripts of what was said in court have been online, and I recommend you at home don't read them. You won't sleep at night.
Before we continue, a quick reminder: if you're enjoying this political discussion, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. A large number of viewers watch without subscribing, and while it's completely free, your support makes a huge difference for the channel. Have you done it yet? Thanks so much for backing us. Now, back to the story. In Broxbourne, a dramatic political shift unfolded as 20 councillors stepped down, together representing an extraordinary 250 years of Labour membership, highlighting just how deep the tensions have become.
Right, 20 councillors in Nottinghamshire have quit Labour, accusing the party under Sir Keir Starmer of abandoning traditional values.
These resignations weren't sudden decisions. They were a deliberate reaction to what many see as Keir Starmer drifting away from the core values of the Labour Party. Critics pointed to his handling of issues like the winter fuel allowance during the cost of living crisis, the WASPI pension dispute, and his controversial stance on matters involving Gaza Strip. Together, these disputes fueled growing frustration and deepened divisions inside the party.
Well, Prime Minister Keir Starmer is facing quite the local revolt that could have far-reaching implications for his leadership and the future of the Labour Party. 20 councillors from Broxtowe Borough Council in Nottinghamshire have resigned from the party altogether. This is a sudden exit of the group and was led by council leader Milan Radulovic.
This isn't just about Broxbourne. Discontent among members of the Labour Party is spreading across the country, pointing to a deeper problem inside the party. When long-time supporters begin walking away in large numbers, it raises serious questions about the party's direction and signals a growing identity crisis that leadership can no longer ignore.
What does this mean? This exodus has cost Labour control of the council and sent shockwaves through the party's ranks. The councillors, now calling themselves the Broxtowe Independents, have accused Starmer of abandoning traditional Labour values. So here are some of the key issues that have led to this split. Winter fuel payments. The government's decision to axe those winter fuel payments for 10 million pensioners has been met with...
The problems facing the Labour Party go far beyond resignations. The party's recent performance in local elections has been deeply damaging, with Labour losing 33 council seats, while gaining only 6, leaving a net loss of 27. At the same time, rival groups such as the Conservative Party, UK, and Reform UK are gaining ground, while smaller parties like the Liberal Democrats, UK, and the Green Party of England and Wales are also seeing their support grow.
The councillors argue that the move betrays core Labour principles of supporting the vulnerable. The two-child benefit cap. Now, the retention of that benefit cap has been a point of contention. Many in the party's left wing view this policy as punitive towards struggling families. Local government reorganisation. Starmer's plans to create super councils have been interpreted by some as an attack on local democracy.
These setbacks are especially surprising given the Labour Party's recent general election victory. Instead of building on that momentum, the party now appears to be steadily losing support. This isn't limited to one area, it reflects a broader national trend, with Labour slipping in multiple regions and facing growing pressure across the country.
The Security Minister has rejected it. Her name is Jess Phillips. She wrote back to Oldham saying that the City Council must probe the crimes and that London will not intervene. Now, this decision has triggered backlash on social media, and Elon Musk has joined in.
Recent criticism from Elon Musk has renewed scrutiny of Keir Starmer's time as Director of Public Prosecutions. Musk alleged that authorities failed to act decisively on child exploitation scandals during that period at the Crown Prosecution Service. Attention has also returned to the Rochdale Abuse Report, which highlighted serious failures by local authorities and law enforcement, events that unfolded during the years of Starmer's tenure.
Most times it's irritating, but in this case, he's making a very important point. On what? The UK's so-called grooming gangs. It all began with a demand from the city of Oldham. Officials there noticed a worrying trend, a rise in reports of grooming and abuse of teenage girls. So the city asked for a public inquiry, a full-fledged probe by the UK Home Office.
The report labelled the abuse as an epidemic, and while the Crown Prosecution Service was meant to approve serious charges, widespread delays and case dismissals occurred. Elon Musk's criticism has sparked renewed calls for a thorough inquiry into how these scandals were handled, with conservative figures like Kemi Badenoch joining the demand for accountability.
But the Security Minister has rejected it. Her name is Jess Phillips. She wrote back to Oldham saying that the City Council must probe the crimes and that London will not intervene. Now, this decision has triggered backlash on social media, and Elon Musk has joined in. He said the minister must be jailed for her decision. He also said judges and cops must be fired. It has now turned into a national debate. Author J.K. Rowling has talked about it. Former Prime Minister Liz Truss has waded in. And everyone is slamming the UK government.
Inside the Labour Party, divisions are becoming impossible to ignore. Dudley councillor Steve Edwards openly called Keir Starmer a liar, accusing him of turning his back on the party's core principles, while prominent Labour figure Milan Radulovic condemned Starmer for pushing a centrist agenda that weakens local democracy and alienates grassroots members.
Let's take a closer look at this problem. What are these grooming gangs? What is their history in the UK, and why is London so afraid of probing them? Grooming here refers to sexual grooming. It is the first step before child sexual abuse. Predators pick their target, they establish trust and emotional connection, and finally they abuse them sexually. These predators convince children that the abuse is...
These criticisms highlight a wider problem. Under Keir Starmer, the Labour Party feels unrecognisable to many long-time members. Its historic dedication to protecting the vulnerable, especially pensioners and children, seems eroded, and disillusionment is evident in councillors' conversations with constituents, where anti-Starmer sentiment has become the prevailing tone.
The debate.
Yeah.
It had been very clear across the board, across the party. I was in the House of Commons yesterday. I was speaking to a Labour MP and a Central Labour MP. Are we going to see a photo of you holding up a board saying you support Waspy? You said you're bound to. You said, because we all did it.
Right.
You know, we all did it. And by the way, Labour MPs and Labour cabinet ministers are aghast at this decision.
Polls show that Keir Starmer has become the most unpopular Prime Minister in nearly 5 decades. After only 5 months in office, his approval ratings are lower than Margaret Thatcher at her lowest and even below Tony Blair during his decline. Public frustration is fueled by policy missteps, including proposed cuts to the winter fuel allowance and inadequate measures on the Waspy pension issue.
Starmer, and what do you make of this petition, my friend?
I mean, on the Starmer point, it's just painful watching him talk, isn't it? It's like he's only recently learned to speak English or something.
This sharp decline is striking. While most prime ministers see a slow drop in popularity, Keir Starmer's ratings have plunged at unprecedented speed, putting the Labour Party's parliamentary standing at serious risk if the trend continues.
He's asleep, not just any aspirations either.
Yes, no.
Given the nightmare that he's already putting the country through, as is evidenced by all these people signing this petition. I just think that he's hopelessly out of his depth on basically everything, that he's drunk the Kool-Aid, as they say, in thinking, as we've said before, that if you just spend years and years saying the Tories are terrible, the terrible, terrible Tories, and when we get in, it'll be fine because we're good people, it hasn't.
Under Rachel Reeves's economic policies, the Labour Party has overseen stalled growth and a looming recession, despite initial gains before the election. GDP growth has flatlined under the current leadership, and Reeves' proposal for £40 billion in tax hikes, combined with inflation above 3%, risks further weakening the economic outlook.
Badenoch has demanded that the government launches an immediate inquiry into child exploitation in Britain, despite not doing that 14 years in power. And this comes as Keir Starmer is attacked over his handling of the Oldham grooming gang scandal when he was head of the Crown Prosecution Service, with Labour.
Small businesses are feeling the pressure. Under Labour Party's policies, including Angela Rayner's Employment Rights Bill, companies could face an extra £5 billion in costs, a burden that threatens widespread layoffs and puts over 100,000 jobs at risk.
Whistleblower who said that when he tried to raise red flags, it was he who found himself on the receiving end of an investigation. And later in the show, I'll be joined by an inspiring single mum from Cornwall, never been involved in politics in her life, so moved by what's going on, so outraged by the political ineptitude to deal with it. She wants to organise a 1 million women march to London. And hey, let's get a few blokes along while we're at it, to show the country we've simply had enough of the politicians, of the councillors, of the media, of the entire establishment burying its head in the sand about this.
Labour's mix of internal turmoil and external pressures paints a grim outlook for the party. Mass resignations, election setbacks, economic struggles, and Keir Starmer's unpopularity have combined into a perfect storm, with forecasts suggesting the party could lose up to 200 seats if an election were held today. A harsh reversal from their recent electoral gains.
Describing as, a betrayal. Yeah. It literally is that. I mean, this is up there. This is on a par with, Nick Clegg breaking his pledge on.
Keir Starmer's leadership is under scrutiny not only from the public, but also from his own Labour Party members and councillors. This growing internal dissent, combined with relentless external criticism, has left the party in a dangerously unstable position.
Into his conduct at the time. Well, it's now emerged that Conservatives also rejected a national inquiry into grooming gangs back in 2022 when they were in government. Let's get more on this now with our national reporter, Charlie Peters, the reporter really who's got this story rolling around the world again. Charlie, it just has absolutely kicked off. Yesterday was big.
Keir Starmer's leadership of the Labour Party has shaken not just the party's top ranks, but also its grassroots base. Historically, Labour thrived by mobilising communities through strong local networks and dedicated supporters, yet under Starmer, that foundation appears to be weakening fast, leaving the party exposed at its core. If you found this breakdown useful, hit like and subscribe for more insights, and watch our other videos to stay updated on the latest political developments and challenges shaping the party's future.